the Mad Movie Mark movie review. Thank you for joining me as I review the 1953 Japanese family drama Tokyo Story. Well, thank you. It doesn't have to be a surprise, though. You merely have to look at a Wikipedia list that has all the movies with 100% fresh brain on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm reviewing all those movies. I'm giving them a score of 1 to 10. After I watch them and score them all, I will rank them from worst to best. I started in the 1920 silent movie era. Now I'm at 1953 with Tokyo Story. So this movie stars a lot of people, but I would say mostly it stars Chishu Ryu and Setsuko Hara. They were also in the movie Late Spring. They played a father and daughter, and in this movie they play a father and a stepdaughter. Now this movie has a 100% fresh rating from the critics and a 93% fresh rating from the audience, which is a pretty good score. So when this movie opens up, we have a husband and a wife. They are elderly, and they live with their youngest daughter, who is Kyoko. They are talking to her. They're letting her know that they're going on a trip to Tokyo and they're going to visit the rest of their children. Now, I believe they have 5 children total. They had 5 children. Only 4 are still alive. One of them died in a war, and that one who died in the war was married to Setsuko Hara's character, who is Noriko, and she still considers them to be like parents, so she is still the stepdaughter. So they're elderly. They're making this trip to Tokyo, which is a pretty far trip for them, but they want to see their kids. They haven't seen their kids in a very long time. So when they get there, I would say there's 2 main kids in the storyline. They're older adults that kind of like drive the story, kind of drive what's going on, and that's Koichi and I think it's Seek, who are their eldest son and their eldest daughter. I'm not going to be able to pronounce their names correctly, so I will just say eldest son and eldest daughter throughout this review. So the eldest son and the eldest daughter are entertaining them. They are letting them stay at their house while they visit. Only no one in the family really has time to do anything with them. They all have busy jobs. One's a doctor, one I think is a beautician, and she's always seeing clients, but they don't have any time to spend with their family. So, the mother and the father end up staying at the house and just entertaining themselves for a while. And then the eldest daughter, she says, is there anything we can do for them? Can we have someone take them somewhere? Can you, she's talking to another one of the kids, can you take them somewhere tomorrow? Because I'm too busy and everyone else is too busy and we're just too busy to take them anywhere. Of course, the other guy, he's too busy as well. So Noriko ends up, they contact her. She is the stepdaughter and she ends up asking for the day off of work, and she takes them on a sightseeing tour through Tokyo. And she really shows them a good time, and she really spends the time to show them around. Now, the eldest daughter, she's trying to cook dinner for her parents, and she's trying to prepare meals for her parents, and trying to figure out what they should eat and what they should get them. And it's suggested that one of the kids bought them like these really great pastries, and she says, why'd you do that? You could have just bought them crackers. You don't have to spend all this money on them. Like, they don't need all of that. They don't need you to spend money on them. Just give them the simple stuff.
うまいだろ? 美味しいことは美味しいけどさ、こんなのもったいないわよ。おせんべいたくさん。
She eventually finds out, the eldest daughter, that she's going to have a work meeting at her house, and she needs to get rid of her parents. So her and the eldest son decide that they're going to send the parents to this hot spring where they can relax, and it's really scenic, and they can see the view. And it's going to be a nice place for them to stay, so they can get rid of them, so that they can have their meeting at this house.
やっぱり3000円いるわね。どうするんだ。お父さんお母さん、兄さんち熱海やってあげたらどうかと思うのよ。兄さんだって忙しいし、私もこのとここう。
So the parents go over to this hot spring, and at first it's got really scenic views. They really like it. They think that they're going to like it there.
ずっと歩いてみようか。そうですな。なんでもこの先の方に景色のところがあるそうですよ。女中さん、そう言うとりました。
But then as it becomes nighttime, they realize that this is a really popular hangout for young people. There's a lot of loud young people who are just having fun and getting drunk and being, just causing a ruckus. And they say, this is really just a place for young adults. Like, we don't really belong here. We should probably just go back and stay with our eldest daughter again, because this isn't really the place for us. So they go back, and when they get back, she's like, hey, why are you guys back so early? You were supposed to stay longer. And she keeps saying this, like, why didn't you stay longer? She keeps prodding them. Hey, like, why aren't you still there? You were supposed to be there.
ただいま。あら、もう帰ってらしたの？ゆっくりしてらっしゃらいいのに。どうなすったの？
And they finally say, that just wasn't the place for us. We like it here. This is where we want to be. We want to be with our children. And she says, well, I have a work meeting. I have people coming over, and you just can't be here. You have to go somewhere else. So the husband and the wife, the elders, husband and wife, they decide that they're going to kind of go separate ways. He is going to spend some time at a friend's house, and she is going to spend some time with Noriko, because Noriko will take her in, and she can stay there for a while. So when the elder father goes to spend some time with his friends, they start talking about the olden times, and they start talking about how their children are not the success that they wish they had been, and they're not as successful as they lead on to be. They kind of tell people that their kids are more successful than they actually are, because they're not as proud as they should be of their children.
ほんまの博士だもんな。
いや今時医者の博士はザラじゃ。
いや親の思うほど子供はやってくれませんな。第一。
And they're drinking and they're getting drunk, and they eventually get drunk, and they kind of cause a scene in the bar. So the cops come in, and they come over to the house of the eldest daughter, and they say, hey, your son is here. Your father's here, and he's drunk, and he got a little bit disorderly, and they were causing a ruckus. And she gets upset at him because he was a heavy drinker when she was a kid, and it led to really bad memories of her as a child. And I guess when she sees him drunk again, she kind of reverts back to this, and she kind of like remembers those bad days that she had as a child. Now the mother, she is with Noriko, and she's having like nice conversations with her. Noriko's really spending a lot of time with her, and really doing everything she can to make her feel welcome, and to make her feel that she's loved. And she says, she has a serious talk with Noriko. She says, look, like, I love you. I love you as a daughter. We both love you, but we're really sad to see that you're not able to move on with your life. Like our son has been gone for years now. He died in the war. He's not coming back. It would really be good if you could get married and move on with your life, and have a life. You're really young, and you deserve to be happy. You deserve to be with someone else. You deserve to be married. And she kind of kicks back, and she says, I am happy. I'm happy with where I am. I'm happy with what I'm doing. I don't think I need a husband. Everything's great. I love our relationship together that I have with you, and it's fine the way it is. But the mom keeps pushing. She keeps saying, well, that's nice, but we really would like you to be happy. We want to make sure that you're happy. You don't have to worry about us. We're older. We've lived our lives, but you need to be happy. You need to be able to live your life as well. So they have a really deep, nice conversation together, and this is really like the strongest relationship in the movie as far as like a child and the parent. So it's really nice to see.
じゃああんたにすまん思うて時々お父さんとも話すんじゃけど人があったらあんたいつでも気兼ねなしにお嫁に行ってくださいよ。
So then once the father and the mother get back, they decide that they're going to go home because their kids have changed. They have a conversation about how their oldest daughter, was once a lot nicer to them, and now she doesn't have time for them. She's trying to get rid of them. She thinks of them as kind of like a nuisance. She doesn't want them around right now because she's so busy and she has so much to do, and they're just kind of getting in the way. And they feel like that's how all their children feel about them right now. So they are going to leave and they're going to go back home because they've seen what they came to see. They saw their grandchildren, they saw their children, they saw the house, they spent some time in Tokyo, they saw Tokyo. So now it's time to go. They're going to go home.
子供も大きくなると変わるもんじゃのう。シゲも子供の自分はもっと優しい子じゃったじゃねえか。
そうでしたな。
So when they leave, they get home and the mom falls gravely ill. She's in critical condition. She falls gravely ill and she's very sick. And the kids all like band together and they go to see the mom.
え？連邦？いや来ない。どっから？
この道からよ。京子からなんだけどおかしいのよ。お母さんが危篤だって言うのよ。
When she's dying, except for the youngest child, he is away on some business thing and he's not able to get there very quickly, but he is trying to get on his way. Eventually, the mother does pass away. The youngest son was not able to get there in time because he was busy on business, but he gets there like the morning the morning after she passes away. And they're talking and they're kind of like reminiscing about their parents and about the times that they had and stuff. And then the eldest daughter starts thinking about things that she wants from her mom, like things that, oh, she had like this really nice piece of clothing that I would like to have. Is that okay if I have it? Like, does anyone care? And she keeps thinking of different things that she wants to have from her mom.
ねえ京子、お母さんの夏帯あったわね。ネズミのさ、梅雨芝の。ええ。あれ私片身に欲しいの。いい兄さん。
ああ、いいだろう。
それからね。細かいかすりの情報、あれまだある？あります。あれも欲しいの。
And she eventually leaves and everyone leaves and only Noriko and Kyoko are still there at this point. Kyoko goes into this speech about how she's very upset with the eldest daughter, with her oldest sister, because she just wanted material things. She didn't seem to like really care about her mom, and she's very upset about how no one really cared about the parents while they were there. They didn't really show them any sights. They didn't have a good time with them. They just treated him like they were nothing, and she's very upset by this. Now Noriko kind of talks about how when you get older, you have your own life, you have your own goals, you have your own things that you need to do and your own things that you need to take care of, and you split apart from your parents, and that's just what is expected of you. So you're expected to have your own life and to not see your parents as often and to, not be as cordial to them because maybe you're in a hurry doing something. And that's just what's expected of you. And she says about her sister wanting stuff from her mom. That's just how it is. She passed away. Her mom's not gonna be able to have it anymore. And this is just what happens. I don't know if Kyoko is very if she is convinced about this, if she's really convinced that this is what should happen and this is what normally happens, but she concedes the point and she goes home. And then once she goes home, the father, after losing his wife, he has a talk with Noriko and he says, you really treated us better than anyone here. Like, you are a really good person. And she goes into this, she feels very sad and she feels very bad because she says she's not a good person, that she often doesn't think about her husband that passed away. There's days that go by where she doesn't think about him, and she really thinks that she should remember him all the time and the love that they had and what they shared together. And the father says, you really need to forget about it. We would like you to forget about him. It's not because we don't love you, because you obviously showed us love and you were obviously the one who showed us the most amount of love while we were here. But because we love you, we want you to have your own life. We want you to be able to have kids, and we want you to be able to have a husband, and we want you to be able to move on. And that's what we want for you. Like, don't tell me you're a bad person because you sometimes you don't remember him, and sometimes you don't think about him, because you probably shouldn't be thinking about him all the time anyway. He's gone. It's your time of mourning is over, and now it's time for you to move on and to have your own life.
お父さん、本当にあんたが気兼ねの先々幸せになってくれることを祈っとるよ。本当じゃよ。
And, they have this talk, and then the father goes back to his house, and he has a talk with, I don't know if she's a neighbor or if she's like a live-in person who's at the house who take care of the house. they talking about how he's probably going to be lonely now and how he's going to miss having someone with him, and that's basically how the movie ends. That's the whole movie. So what do I think about this movie? I honestly think this movie is, and I'm not alone here. This is the consensus that this movie is fantastic. That this movie is great. This movie really, I've talked about this before, but this movie was from the 50s, and you still have these emotions, and you still have these family dynamics today, and it just really makes you feel a certain way. And for me, I think by the end of the movie, I was like bawling, I was crying. So in 2019, my mom passed away, kind of suddenly, and they lived in Texas. I live in California, and I wasn't always able to see them. Now, it's not because I didn't want to see them. It's not because I was too busy all the time. It was mostly a money thing. I didn't have the money to fly to Texas all the time, and they didn't have the money to fly to me. So it was very rare, like maybe in a 5-6 year period, I saw them maybe 2 or 3 times. So I get this, this movie kind of talks to me, whereas you're away from your parents, you live a long distance from your parents, and there's something there that makes it so you can't see them. And it's very hard to do that. It's a very hard thing to go through, especially when you realize that your mom is sick or that your mom doesn't have that long left to live. And, you're like, what am I going to do? Like, I haven't spent that much time with her. I've had a family member who kind of guilt tripped me for not spending that much time with them. But what can I do? I couldn't afford to fly there. I just couldn't make up the money. So this movie, it really moved me in the fact that, it's hard. I wish I could have made more time, and I wish I could have been there more, and I wish I could have, seen her more, but it just didn't happen, and it's not really something that I believe that I could have made happen. But in this movie, so when they actually see their parents, they kind of treat them poorly, and they kind of treat them like they don't have a lot of time. And, I feel like that is happening in our lives too. Our lives are so fast-paced. With the technology, we want everything right now. Everything has to be at the snap of a finger. Everything has to be instant. And because everything is instant, because we have everything at the snap of a finger, that means things are more fast-paced. We expect things to be faster. We expect things to get things faster. We expect satisfaction way faster than we ever did before. And because of that, now our lives can be busier. We can do more things at once. But it also means we have less time for the important things, like spending time with our parents, especially if we don't live near them. Now, my dad has since moved closer to me, but my wife is now pregnant with her first child, so it's going to be hard to see him. It's going to be hard to travel, and traveling is hard anyway because there's just family dynamics that make things hard sometimes. Definitely when I see my parents, when I see my father, when I see my sister who lives with my father, I try to spend as much time with them as possible. I try to do things with them. I try to be with them. I try to be in the moment. It's very difficult. It is. It's hard. But it's something that you need to do. And I think this movie is kind of saying that. I mean, I think it's really on the side of the parents here, where, all they wanted to do was come and visit their children. They just wanted to spend some time with them. They just wanted to see them, and they just wanted to have fun with them. But their children are just way too busy. And, are there plans that they could have canceled? Could they have done things differently? Maybe, but it's just a really sad story when at the end of the movie, the mother passes away, and it's almost like they didn't even see her because they didn't have enough time to see her. But this movie is gripping, and all the actors are fantastic. I mean, Setsuko Hara, who I said in the beginning is considered the greatest female actress, the greatest actress in Japanese history. After seeing her in this movie and seeing her in Late Spring, I definitely see that. In Late Spring, I always thought it was weird that she was smiling all the time, even when it didn't really call for her to smile. But then it's because later in the movie she has a totally different expression. It's a complete 180, and this movie's kind of the same way, that she can just change her expressions, change her demeanor at the drop of a dime, and it's amazing the way she does it and the way she shows emotion. It's fantastic. The father and the mother in this movie are also really great. The father was also in Late Spring. Fantastic actors. the way they bring their dialogue, the emotion that they show. I mean, they're not like over the top acting, but it's very subtle emotion that they show, and it's very subtle love or very subtle disappointment. It's actually fantastic. And then later on, when the father is drinking and he's like talking about his children, and it's great. It's definitely a different. Point. It's definitely different acting than what we saw from him in the beginning of the movie. The story is great. It's very simplistic. It's a nice simplistic story that's just about a family and about not having enough time for each other. It's heartbreaking. I tend to like heartbreaking movies though. The music is fantastic. Like I said, the acting is great. The script is great. Cinematography is amazing. There's a few scenes in this movie. Now, one of my favorite scenes in the movie is when they're touring Tokyo and they're on a bus and you kind of see like a skyscraper and you see Tokyo through the window of the bus. Fantastic. I thought that looked amazing. And then when they get to the hot springs, there's some scenes that are really good. There's a lot of sort of like almost like the camera's down low when it's pointing up at all the panoramic scenes, and it's fantastic. The cinematography is great here. I mean, the movie is almost the movie is pretty much perfect. There's not anything that I would change about it. You have the daughter who was also in Late Spring, the eldest daughter, who plays a really good part of kind of a daughter who, she deep down inside she loves her parents, but she also is annoyed by them and what they're doing and that they're there. They all play their parts perfectly. They're all perfectly believable for what they're doing. And in the end, it's just a heart-wrenching movie that I think everyone should see. To me, it's a perfect movie. This is a 10 out of 10 without a doubt. I think it's like the 5th or 6th 10 out of 10 that I've given out of like the 70 movies that I've reviewed. But this deserves it. There's no way this movie gets anything but a 10 out of 10 because it is that good. And it's actually that great. It's that spectacular. It's that amazing. And I think everyone should see it because a lot of people don't want to see movies that are serious or that are heartbreaking, that are depressing, but these are the kind of movies that for me they really stir up a lot of emotion and they really make me think about my life and they make me think about the relationships that I've had. And these are the kind of movies that I like to see because they make me feel something. I mean, I like comedies and stuff too, but these are the movies that really really dig deep down inside my heart and my soul, and they really make me feel a certain way, and I absolutely loved it. This movie did everything that it was supposed to do, and I mean, there's not a whole lot of movies that I cry in. Ordinary People is one, and this is one of them now. So thank you for joining me. This is a 10 out of 10, and I hope you will join me for my next review. Thank you. Have a good day.